For the Juventini that watched the post-game of Napoli-Juve, you all remember that in that video, I did that special trick. 50% speaking, and then after 50% of the video, I disappeared like by magic, because that was actually a way of explaining you the game, how it went, Napoli-Juve, where Juventus was doing something in the first half and totally disappeared in the second half. I can't use that trick anymore today. First of all, because it would not be creative and original, and secondly, because after Ciao Juventini of the world, I will disappear immediately, because that's what happened yesterday, and not only from the moment that Kalulu was injured, even before. I will come back on that on a second. So yesterday, if there was one man that we want to save from that really collapse of Juve, from that non-performance, from that shame performance, we can say, in our home, losing 2-0 from Benfica, it's probably Perin. That saved us a lot of times, because it could have been even worse. But then I want to personally thank Perin that is giving me the assist for the topic of today's video. Because he's saying in post-game, there are a lot of expectations towards us because we are Juventus. But at the moment, as we speak right now, we are not at the level of Juventus. Off topic, he also said, and that has not been reported, we are not worth at the moment of the legacy given by the other ones. Who are we speaking about? You can see them all there in the wall. Buffon, Del Piero, Chiellini, Vialli, etc., etc. We are not worth at the moment. Now, it would be easy to say, Perin is speaking about the 10 players that were in front of him on the field and the people that entered. Is he speaking only about the players? Is he speaking only about the coach? Is he speaking about the ownership? Look, I think that the supporters told us who he was speaking about. Easy. Because if you are listening to the stadium yesterday, you heard a lot of whistles. But these whistles, at the difference of a few seasons ago, they didn't arrive to an individual. You all remember, an Alexandro, the whistle towards De Sciglio before entering the field, the whistles towards Locatelli in that friendly this summer, that family friendly. You all remember them, targeting specific players that were not giving enough, that we were not happy enough about. I have always been against whistles before the game, whistles before entering, because like that you are totally destroying mentally a player that needs to give us something. But I have never been against the whistle at the triple whistle. Never. Because people are there for a show. People are doing a lot of sacrifices. People, they want to see their team win. They want to celebrate 2 goals. People are doing a lot of investments in terms of money. It costs a lot of sacrifices in traveling from all over the world. I know someone that wrote me, Beppe, I will be the entire month in following Juve, going to Napoli, going to the Allianz Stadium, going to Bruges. People are going crazy for the holiday, so we are asking a bit of respect. So they have the right, we have the right to whistle and to criticize this Juventus after a non-performance like yesterday. But I was telling you, at the difference of the past where we were whistling an individual, yesterday they were whistling the collective Juve, the global Juve. Everyone, the club, it's more Juventus that people were whistling, not an individual. And Juventus is not only the 11 or 15 players or 16 players that played yesterday, it's the staff, the technical staff, the coach, it's the management, the sporting management. But everyone at Juve, also the ownership, yesterday the whistle were for everyone. A global disappointment, probably that will be the huge big title of today. Juve global disappointment, that could be a big title. Look, Del Piero said exactly the same as I'm repeating you always here on the channel. Don't look for a scapegoat only, because you will not solve problems at medium long term. You're probably even right in criticizing one person only. But it's not only that person. There are much more problems. And yesterday, Del Piero at the microphone is telling us the same. Juventus is missing something. Juventus is disorganized and inattentive, so not alert. The support of the management is also needed. Something that we missed yesterday, to be honest, because I was hoping, not expecting, but hoping that someone from the management would have come down after the first 8 games of Champions League, after what we saw yesterday, to say, look, we know it. We are working on it. At least you are reassured that they acknowledge when they come down, usually it's the bottom of the problem. If they still didn't speak after a performance like yesterday, it means that, according to them, it can even become worse, or at least this is my interpretation as a fan, which I don't agree. But yesterday he said it cannot only depend on the coach, so please, for the Thiago Motta out person, for the Giuntoli out person, for X out, for Y out, for Z out, pay attention that you don't take one scape only, but that you are looking globally, because at the moment it's a lot of things that are not working. If we want to divide by coach and technical staff, by management and by players, we will go towards it, and that will be the structure of the video. I don't know, by the way, if you already did or not. Put a maximum of like if you want to support me as a content creator. I can guarantee you that it's not always easy. It's absolutely not easy to find content that is not repetitive for a repetitive bad Juve. I can promise you that. So maximum of like if you didn't yet, and don't forget this evening 9:30 p.m. my time, there will be a debate, much more in detail, where you will have also the possibility to write in the chat to tell us or ask us your question, but also tell us your opinion. With Marco from IFTV and from CBS, with Hashball that you requested, that analyzed a lot Cope manners, Thiago Motta. So we'll speak a beautiful debate. Yesterday, speaking about the coach, look, there is one thing that makes me crazy. You know that I speak a lot of languages, and sometimes it's difficult. It's really difficult, especially when you're not speaking your first language, to stay focused. Yesterday, you have a Thiago Motta that after the game is speaking, probably the 5th or 6th or 7th interview, he's speaking to Sky Sport in Italian. So he starts in Italian, and then at a certain moment, his brain is switching to Spanish. Until the journalist says, Thiago, you're speaking in Spanish. Where he said, oh, I'm sorry, I was speaking in Spanish with the other one. But if you're looking at the words or how he's doing it, it's really a switch like that. He starts in Italian, boom, he switches in Spanish, which means that it's a total confusion. This happens when you are not 100% aware or strong from your ideas, where you are really in difficulty. That's what we saw after the game, but also during the game. I said it, since the beginning of the season, one of our huge weaknesses is that we are really bad in aerial duels, extremely bad. Yesterday, we tried to play with long crosses in the first half, which was absolutely not working. 75% of the aerial duels were won by Benfica, so insisting there is something that I don't understand. And yes, we insisted because after that first half, also in that second half, which Thiago is telling us we were a bit better in the second half. We tried something, but it didn't work in half third. Of course, it didn't work in half third, because if you finish the game with 36 crosses, and one of them, the last one, is trying to reach from McKennie, the header of Conceição, there is a huge big problem. It's a disaster, and I don't understand why the coach pointed or betted on that strategy against Benfica. Then you will tell me, Beb, but it was difficult because Kalulu got injured. No, this is even worse. But if you look at the first whistle of the referee, immediately in our home, there is a Benfica that after 30 seconds is in our box, being dangerous. We could have been down 1-0. We have a reaction with Bangula, it's true. And then boom, immediately after that Bangula header on target, you have immediately that second attempt from Benfica. After 90 seconds, it was Benfica that was having already 2 attempts in our home, in a game that was important for a lot of things that I told you yesterday, but also a game without pressure, because you were already in that top 24. So before even the Kalulu injury, he was not in the game yesterday. Gatti was totally not in the game yesterday. We'll speak about the individuals in a second. And we finish after that injury of Kalulu with a left back that is a midfielder, Weston McKennie, with a center back that is a Regista. Mezzala is a midfielder, Locatelli, with a right back that is a right winger. And we finish with a center defender that I'm not even sure if he's the favorite one of Thiago Motta. You remember that months ago we were speaking about a second extension of contract for Federico Gatti, especially when he had that captain armband in the beginning of the season. You all remember that we were speaking about an extension of contract for Gatti that we didn't hear about anymore. It's gone. Why is it gone? I don't know. Even if we need also to say and to admit that in the summer, nobody was putting Federico Gatti as a starter, because we were going towards a Bremer Calafiori, Bremer Todibo, Bremer Kalulu. These were the starting center backs in the mind of Thiago Motta on long term. So, guys, yesterday a disaster, Federico Gatti, but can I blame him? Can I really blame him? No. I cannot blame him. Honestly, I cannot blame him, because if he is the only center back in a four-man defense, the only real defender, I'm not even saying center back, the only real defender, that means that it's much, much bigger. Could we anticipate that injury of Kalulu? Absolutely, yes. Yesterday, Enrico Turcato from Opta is reporting that Federico Gatti and Kalulu, they played the last 19 games, all competitions, 19 on 19 between Serie A, Champions League, Supercoppa, Coppa Italia. 1,636 minutes for Kalulu, 1,613 minutes for Federico Gatti, the two most used and defenders with the most minutes in their leg. Guys, of course they are doing some mistakes. Of course they are not fresh anymore. Of course they are not lucid anymore to do the game that they need to do, because there is absolutely no changes. And there, do we want to blame them? Do we want to blame Thiago Motta also there? I don't think so. I think that there is someone else that we need to blame. But before that, an update about the conditions of Pierre Kalulu. Medical update from Pierre that was officialized by Juve this early afternoon, with Pierre that had indeed, and has been confirmed, a lesion of low grade to the semi-membranous muscle tendon in his... We don't care. We don't care. The problem is that he will be out. According to Juve, we don't know. In 10 days, there will be further exams. But since I had a lot of rumors and then confirmed by other journalists that are telling us not 20 days, like Di Marzio was first saying, but probably more towards the 30 days, if not 40 days, which means that we already had no defenders, and on top of that, we miss a Kalulu. So Bremer, Kalulu, Cabal, it's totally, with only Gatti that is staying there as a center back. But you know what was extremely annoying were the words of Giuntoli yesterday before the game that tell us, look, we were looking, and we said that we were looking for two defenders and a striker, and these players are here. For us, to us, the Mercato can be considered closed. Of course, obviously, if we will always be alert, if there is an opportunity, according to our possibilities, we will be there. So yesterday is actually in front of the world saying we close the Mercato. Do we believe a sporting director or not? Is he joking? Is he fooling? No, we never really believe. But these words are really strong. Not only the Mercato is closed, but also saying we will be alert if there will be possibilities according to our possibilities, according to our what we can do, which is also showing, you know, how weak Juventus is on the transfer market in terms of finances. And that's a huge, big problem. Because if today Kalulu is injured and Giuntoli is working, well, plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, they are all flopped. Even players like Todibo is at the moment a huge, big no, because West Ham is not opening, because Nice, we didn't even speak with them, because if West Ham doesn't speak, Nice cannot speak. But we knew it. We said it here. We said we don't believe. The formula is totally crazy. How will we do? About Lloyd Kelly, also there for Newcastle. Newcastle, they are saying, guys, you want the player? Okay, pay the player. But we are going for players on loan. And I don't think, honestly, that this is what we need today. A player on loan can be Colomwani, an exception, because also the experience, the player that he is. But if you tell me that you go for a player like Renato Vega, and hopefully I'm praying that he will be a phenomenal, I will support him. But if you tell me that's the player that will solve the defense problems of Juve, and on top of that you're looking for a Lloyd Kelly to reinforce our defense on loan, because that shows a message. We don't believe in the guy. The supporters don't believe in the guy, but also the management, we don't want to invest. What I'm expecting today is that you have identified the player that you wanted and that you go for it and that you bring him in Torino as soon as possible. Instead of that, I'm hearing about names like Christensen, not from Barcelona, but from Udinese and from Goglicice. Christensen, young player, 198, physical, strong, but he's not even a starter at Udinese. Is that the player that needs to reinforce Juventus today? Then the things are moving towards a Goglicice that is 20 years old. Really beautiful prospect. Player from Empoli that at least is a starter and is doing a beautiful season. But is that the answer that Juve needs to give for a competition in Serie A that is risking to not have that top 4? And you will tell me, Beppe, but we can even have that top 5. Hey, pay attention. I will tell you something. You will go totally crazy. First of all, yesterday, on top of what already has been achieved, we could have had a beautiful sum on top. Like, for example, Inter with that victory plus qualifications in the top 8, 15.5 million on top of what they already had. Leverkusen, 18.8, victory plus qualifications to the next stage. Top 8, huh? Juventus, because we threw it away against Bruges. And yesterday we didn't even believe that much in it, or at least that's how we entered the field. We earned 0.900, 0.9, which means 900k, not even 1 million. Not even 1 million for the last week, because we didn't qualify to the top 8. We can increase it now playing the 2 games a bit, but we don't reach these numbers. Against who can we play? 2. Or Milan or PSV. With all the bad luck of the world and the bad Juve that we have at the moment, probably it's the 2 best team that we could play against now at today, even if PSV is absolutely not anymore the PSV that we have beaten 3-1. And Milan, the one of Supercoppa, will destroy us with the character, with that grinta and believing it till the end, the one that won in Serie A, the one that played yesterday in Champions League, the one that played in Serie A against Juve where they lost 2-0, probably not. So we are maybe even a bit lucky. Lucky in the bad luck, because that's where we arrive to the point. You know that it's important to pray for the other Italian teams to do well so that we can qualify. Well, yesterday the only team that won from the Italian teams were Inter 3-0 against Monaco. They are in the top 8, so we don't have a lot of points there for that top 5 or for the 5th spot in Champions League. And the bad luck is telling us that Juve could potentially play against Milan, which means that one of them will be eliminated. And possibly Milan or Juve, the one that wins, will play against Inter. So in the next stage, also there, another Italian will be eliminated, which means already 2 eliminated Italians for sure. Then Juve could play possibly against PSV and then possibly against Arsenal. Let's see what the draw will tell us. Maybe, possibly. But then, anyway, then it will be Milan-Feyenoord and Milan-Inter if they win. So also for there, for the path for Italian teams, it's not easy. And then we arrive to the last part of the videos, the players that disappointed me. The first one, you will tell me, Beppe, it's Vlahovic, Beppe, it's Gatti. No, I tell you, the first one that disappointed me the most was Cambiaso yesterday, because he was not there. Because he was not there with his teammates. I'm not saying that he should have played, but he should have been there on the bench. There will be an offer from City. There will be an offer. Will we accept it or not? Maybe the Kalulu situation is changing something, I have no idea. But I was extremely disappointed in Cambiaso yesterday. Like I was disappointed in all the players except of Perin and probably Yildiz, that at least showed me that he wanted to try yesterday. But the other ones, guys, Weah, disaster. But can I blame Weah to play right back? No. McKennie was not good against Di Maria with 30-40 minutes autonomy, but he was not good, McKennie. Can we blame McKennie? Absolutely not. Like Gatti, that was the worst one if you're looking at the game of yesterday. But how much can we blame a player that is playing with 3 midfielders in a 4-man defense, arriving at the 20th game out of 20? It's a total disaster, and he will need to continue because we have nobody else. We need to pray for Renato Veiga now. Huh? But will he play or will it be Locatelli as a centre-back against Empoli? Big question there. Dusan Vlahovic, a total flop yesterday. 7 duels. He was eaten by Otamendi. The guy is nearly in retirement. He ate him. 7 contrast, 0-1. What can I tell you? You want to know about Fagioli? Fiorentina is mocking us. After we spent 38 million for Nico Gonzalez, after we spent all that money for Vlahovic, after we spent for Chiesa, for this, for that, you know what they want for Fiorentina, for Fagioli? 18 months loan, so probably 6 months loan, and then a promise already for a year of loan, where at the end of the 18 months, it's an option to buy that can become an obligation at certain conditions. Where Juventus says, no, guys, obligation or no. No, blah, 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 no option, obligation or not. Guys, I don't know. There's too many things to say. I'm disappointed. I told you. Who to blame? You want to blame someone today? Blame Juventus as a whole. Blame the management. Blame the coach. Blame the players. Blame Beppe as a content creator. He's probably also not at the level. But listen to what Perin said yesterday in his press conference after the game. There are a lot of expectations because we are at Juventus, but at the moment, today, as we speak, we are probably not at the level. Grazie, forza, Juve.